But a lot of things that we need, like housing and medical care, has increased steadily. All at the same while, how much we can buy for our dollar has decreased. And here's
Nothing illustrates this point better than watching old episodes of The Price is Right. So Roku TV has an entire channel of just The Price is Right and the old episodes with Bob Barker. So this is like 1980 to like 1986, right? Everybody should watch this because it's amazing for lots of different reasons. They give away all sorts of bizarre things and a satellite dish.
I am definitely getting it.
I saw an electric car and the fashions alone are like to die for, okay? Just so you know, if you don't know The Price is Right, it's a game show that is still on today and it's been on since the 60s where basically it's people they pick from the audience and they have to guess the price of everyday household items. And then if you guess it right, you win the prize, okay? And so they give away things like ceiling fans and furniture and carpets and cars, right? And what's really crazy is I initially thought I was not going to be able to guess the price of these items from 1980, right? Which is the average year of which I was watching, okay? What our dollar was worth in 1980 is very different than it is today. So I really thought like, oh, everything was going to be way cheaper back then than it is today. That is not the case. In fact, there are certain things that are actually cheaper today than they were back then.
Prepared to show you the first item up for bids on our show. Yonder it is.
It's game room carpeting. I'm Dorcas, 35 square yards of Magic Kingdom. It is
$100.
$400. Helen, what do you say?
$275.
$275 to you, Lydia.
I say $300.
You say $300 and Keely says
$425.
$400. The actual retail price is $453 and Keely.
So how does this tie into tariffs and what Trump is doing? Okay. Things that have continued to be made here in the United States have continued to rise with the price of the dollar. So they're around close to 300% more expensive today than they were 45 years ago in 1980, okay? Things like cars, things like homes, right? However, the things that have either stayed the same price for the last 45 years or gotten cheaper are the things that are made internationally and then imported. So Trump's argument of, oh, let's just bring back manufacturing here in the United States, do you think that the prices are going to be the same as they are today, made here in the United States? No. They will not be. They will not be. And the first thing I'm going to hear is, well, it's because they're not made with slave labor. Poor working conditions, that does exist in certain places, but the cost of living is also incredibly cheaper in many of those places, and their currency is valued much lower. And so as a result, the dollar goes a lot farther there. And so a political party is arguing for American manufacturing. What a lot of those folks are arguing for is for a living wage, is for less income inequality. And there's lots of ways that we can get that without making all of the cheap crap that is made in Vietnam and Taiwan. We can have less inequality without having to suffer the way that we are right now. The way things are going about with tariffs is not how you do it. Okay. And so right now, the cost of goods will go up tremendously because everything is basically made with raw materials or made completely in other countries and then imported into the United States. Okay. However, even being imported, they will not be as expensive as they would be if it had been made in the United States the entire time. Because America still has a lot of manufacturing. It does, but it's very highly specialized. And the things that have continued to be made here in the United States that we cannot import, such as homes, cars, those things have increased around this price index and obviously even more in many instances. What people really want is a living wage and less income inequality. We want a middle class, and that is what left when American manufacturing went overseas.